Hello everyone, this is Mr. Speak, and right now I'm doing Naruto 556 Gaara versus Mizukage. And Gaara appears to be, a quick summary of the chapter, Gaara appears to be in a little bit of trouble here. All his sand is being melted down with like some sort of oil that is exuded by the clam. And it's really causing havoc with the sand. He's destroying all the sand, so Gaara is losing his defense. In any case, we get some intervention from the Tsuchikage, and he's preparing his own maneuver. However, there's a quick note here that the Tsuchikage is kind of winded himself. He can no longer use his dust element, so this is like the first glimpse we're seeing of the fights thoroughly exhausting. The ongoing war thoroughly exhausting some of the high level combatants. In any case, he finally figures out where the clam is, and he strikes it with the earth technique. And yeah, he breaks through. I mean, if you look at this thing, he utterly shatters that clam. What's going to happen from this point, I cannot tell. Well, from that point, I cannot tell as far as the clam's concerned, but it should be pretty damn interesting. Anyway, he throws his back out while doing so. So, it's going to be pretty interesting to see what happens with Tsuchikage later on. In any case, the the mirage failed. The mirage, the genjutsu that's been floating around with this guy is over now. However, he takes advantage of Tsuchikage's weakness to use the water gun technique, where he takes like this small bit of water and shoots it like straight through. I don't know. It looks to be somewhat of a lethal move. It's like the bottom of the neck, maybe a little lower than that. Anyway, around that area, pretty potent shot. It goes straight through him, and yeah, that's pretty brutal. I'm definitely going to see what's going to happen. Anyway, Gar steps in. He helps get Tsuchikage out of that position, but he looks to be pretty bad. He looks to be in pretty bad shape. I mean, the Tsuchikage, not Gaara. In any case, Gaara's been using his third eye to keep watch on the real copy of the guy. It's the real guy this time. Sorry, not the real copy. He's trying to entomb him in sand. However, some of the oily liquid, I don't know if it's oil, but anyway, some of the liquid from earlier encases the sand and touches it and starts to destroy it again. But Gar's not deterred. He keeps piling on more sand until he creates this new technique, Desert Tiered Imperial Funeral, which is basically a giant sand pyramid. They start their sealing jutsu. However, it is not over yet. There's this big explosion. Everybody's like somewhat pushed back, and then it's like, I don't know what to call it. Anyway, this guy's finally getting serious. I don't know if it's him or if it's still the technique that's controlling him, but it looks like within all the dust, it looks something like a face in there. If that's the case, they're going to be opening up for an even more intense battle. It's called the Infinite Explosions technique, so this should be interesting. Anyway, it ends. The last words of the chapter say, "The tyrants of pure battle's lust has been awakened." So does that mean this guy's going to take an active role in trying to kill them now? I mean, I'm not sure. In any case, Gar's kind of looking at it in awe. It looks kind of confusing. But, yep, that's the end of the chapter. Now, quick note. Um, Apparently Tsuchikage and this guy, the Mizukage, knew each other at some point when, I don't know, I think it may have been when Tsuchikage was at his prime, but it's not explicitly said when they knew each other. He knew him as a potent combatant, and he does seem to know a lot about it. For instance, he knew about the dust element techniques that he possesses. So, kind of question how long Tsuchikage's been around. But, another interesting note, at this rate, it doesn't appear he's going to be around much longer. Just because, again, that shot that he received from the water gun was pretty potent. I mean, if you look at it, it's really, wow. So, is Tsuchikage going to survive this fight? Are they going to start killing off characters? Those are some of the questions you're going to have to ask yourselves. But at the same time, like definitely something I've been speaking a lot about with Naruto and people in some of my other vids is that they're really showing like fatigue from the battle. Naruto, we can definitely see it on a sliding scale because he was training with his tail beast form, and I think what 1 or 2 chapters ago his tail beast form finally gave out on him. It might have been last chapter even he tried to do the tail beast ball, and his tail beast form kind of it was spent. It went out on him, and he had to resort to using Sage mode. And it doesn't say. Apparently, Naruto can't keep any more clones, more than a few clones in Sage mode. So I don't think he has any reserves. Now, outside of him, we definitely see Gar. He appears to be getting somewhat tired. Tsuchikage was showing some fatigue. He used up a lot of chakra with his dust element stuff in the fighting. So, what's that say about the remaining characters? Are they going to be tired? Especially when it comes to, we still haven't dealt with the biggest issues, namely Kabuto. We haven't dealt with Madara. And third of all, Sasuke. Sasuke is Naruto's concern for the end game. Until then, we're not entirely sure. Madara is still a potent threat. He hasn't done anything really aside from help, supervise his battle in a sense. I think he's just been watching around. That's as far as it goes. As for Kabuto, Kabuto is used like, chakra for the whole Edo Tensei revival technique, but again, that was one of the issues brought up before, was that it apparently doesn't use a lot of chakra to bring back even the most powerful combatants. So yeah, it's going to be something. He might not be too spent either. Anyway, I don't know. I want to take a step aside and look at some of the other characters. Don't get me wrong, this battle is somewhat interesting. But at the same time, you want to get a look at some of the other characters like Anko. Where's Kakashi in them? Where's like the other teams that were in the tuning exams? Stuff like that. As far as Anko is concerned, she may or may not be alive. I hope she's alive. I like Anko sort of. As for the other teams, I'm really curious because we've been highlighting all these minor characters and all these guys we really don't see as much as, such as the various Kages, some of these other badass people that we don't get to see as often. But at the same time, we haven't. It's been mostly Naruto, Killer Bee focused before. Now it's like Gar and Tsuchikage focused. Well, we've seen Gar focused before. Now Tsuchikage is coming into like the cast. He may not be there for long. Depends on how this injury is treated. But either way, I want to see more of those characters. Anyway, comment, rate, subscribe below. This is gonna be it for this chapter. Yeah, so this has been Mr. Speak on Naruto 556, signing off.